Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. If you can please take your seats, the program is about to begin. Please take your seats. Good morning and welcome to the 19th North Central College Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremony. We are honored to have many esteemed guests joining us, including nearly 30 current members of the Cardinal Athletic Hall of Fame. Will you please join me in welcoming them here today? From the class of 1974, Glenn Banky. From the class of 2012 and 2014, Dan Benton. From the class of 1994, Donna Chess Boomgarden. Honorary degree member from the class of 2016, Coach Al Carius. Coach Pat Gora. From the class of 1990, Megan Allen Gossett. Coach Frank Grammaroso. From the class of 1983, Bonnie Hanson Jagala. From the class of 2008, Adam Johnson. From the class of 1964, Roger Kiekofer. From the class of 2007, Cam Kniss. Coach Jim Kalawiak. From the class of 1986, Coach Ed Matthey. Special inductee, Heidi Matthews. From the class of 1964, John Novak. From the class of 1990, Susie Bame Randazzo. From the class of 1987, Matt Richards. From the class of 1962, Ruben Roca. From the class of 1983, Brenda Sanders. Special inductee, Dr. Ken Sanders. From the class of 1983, Don Schabacker. Coach John Thorne. Coach Marcy Thurwachter. From the class of 1981, Bernard Berner. From the class of 1984, Kim Wallner. From the classes of 2014 and 2016, Mary Kate Roan Walsh. From the class of 2007, Amber Druin White. And from the class of 2009, Ben Yule. Will you please join me in a round of applause for these members of your North Central College Athletic Hall of Fame? And now, it is time to welcome to the stage the class of 2023 Athletic Hall of Fame inductees. From the class of 2010, Kyle Brady. From the class of 1992, Sean Delaney. From the class of 2010, Aaron Fanthorpe. From the class of 1994, David Jones. From the classes of 2016 and 2018, Gina Fisher-Komek. From the class of 2015, Vlasta Manja Scherer. From the class of 2011, Gabe Yule. Honorary degree member from the class of 2015, President Emeritus, Dr. Hal Wilde. And from the class of 1986, our very own Senior Director of Athletics, Jim Miller. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for your Hall of Fame inductees.
Wow, what a turnout. Thank you all for coming. This is unbelievable. Good morning and welcome to the 2023 induction ceremony for North Central College Athletic Hall of Fame. My name's Jim Miller. I'm Senior Director of Athletics here at North Central. I'm a proud 1986 graduate of the college. I've been part of this department as a student athlete, a coach, and administrator for the past 41 years, and it's now my honor to host this wonderful event. We are so glad you guys are here to celebrate the accomplishments of these outstanding athletes and special individuals. We're also proud to induct our first teams into the Hall of Fame this year. It's been an annual tradition since 2004 to induct the elite of the Cardinal athletes into the Athletic Hall of Fame. Since we held this ceremony last year, we have seen 3 teams win national championships to raise our all-time total to 43. Yeah. Which would put us 3rd in the United States of all Division III schools, by the way, not in the script. While 11 teams won conference titles and 10 qualified for national championship competition last year. Just as impressive is that our players continue to excel academically. After another outstanding semester in the classroom in the spring, Cardinal student athletes have now won 895 academic honors. The role of the coaches and faculty mentors have never been more important than the last couple of years. We owe so much to these individuals for their tireless efforts to keep student athletes motivated, prepared, and confident. That's how we have kept our winning tradition alive during such a challenging time, both in the classroom and on the field. Before we introduce our inductees, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge our student athletes, alum athletes, and coaches in the audience today. Thank you for your many years and contributions. We are so grateful. Let's give you a round of applause. It's now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Jessica Brown. Dr. Brown joined the college in the fall of 2021 as our Vice President for Student Affairs and Athletics. Under Dr. Brown's leadership, Jessica, we have been able to restructure and expand the athletic department's administrative team to better respond to student needs and position each program to thrive long-term. Dr. Brown is a former NCAA Division I student athlete and Division III coach, and is a vocal champion for our student athletes. Jessica?
Alrighty. Thank you, Jim. Good morning to you all. Today is a special occasion. Thank you all for joining us. It is always a pleasure to have our Hall of Famers home as we recognize the 18th induction class of individuals and teams who represent the best of Cardinal athletics. You are a living testament of North Central College's mission and the power of sports to enhance an educational experience. Our student athletes continue to live out the Division III philosophy by being elite on their playing surfaces, embodying great character, and demonstrating their academic strengths in the classroom. Cardinal Athletics continues to lead the way as a premier experience for all of Division III student athletes. Already this fall, our football program and our men's cross-country teams have been ranked #1 in the nation. Our women's tennis team extended their current winning streak to a conference play of 39 straight matches, and a women's wrestler, Armani Jones, won a bronze medal in the Under-20 World Championship in Amman, Jordan. One of my favorite opportunities about working at North Central College is I get the opportunity to work alongside the best AD in Division III athletics, Jim Miller, who happens to be a Hall of Famer this year. And working with our athletic administration team. I often speak about leading from the front within our division. Our athletic administration team continues to lead from the front by finding unique ways to enrich our student-athlete collegiate experience and supporting them in every aspect of their lives. We engaged in a unique effort that impacts the students in a holistic way this July. We hosted the first meeting of the College Conference of Illinois-Wisconsin Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. Our Assistant AD for Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, Brian Johnson, class of '95, was very intentional about advancing our DEI efforts within North Central College and also within the conference. We look forward to continue our collaboration with our colleagues around the conference around shared initiatives. Moreover, Brian has developed the newly formed inclusion team, which is designed to ensure that we are living out our EDBIJ issues within our athletic department. This semester, we hosted our first Critical Conversations event here in the concert hall, where a panel of alumni discussed their journey to belonging at North Central. The college has also partnered with Rise to Win, a national nonprofit that empowers and educates the sports community to create a positive change around issues around race and inclusion. Rise held a workshop for approximately 300 student athletes and over 50 coaches and administrators this past September, and they will continue to host a variety of workshops over the next year or so. Another unique effort that directly impacts the student athlete experience is Zone In, led by our athletic training staff. We have partnered with Zone In, a platform which helps student athletes manage their nutritional needs, establish good nutrition habits, and improve their overall health. We continue to explore additional means to empower our student athletes and to set them up for success within athletics and also in life. Before I transition to discussing our induction class, I want to take the opportunity to remind our Cardinal athletic community that financial support is needed for our teams to stay in the national conversation. Last year, we launched a Women in Sport campaign. This fund will allow us to address our equity issues within our women's programs. Please check out our website to learn more about that campaign and our rich history around women in sports. And please consider giving to that fund. This year's induction class represents 9 different sports, and we are proud to introduce some of our earliest national championship teams this year, in addition to individual honorees. Thank you all to the coaches, faculty, and staff members for teaching our student athletes and setting a great example for them, as well as friends and family members who have been there to support them along the way. And to our Hall of Fame honorees, thank you and congratulations. You are truly the best of the best. You have earned your space in this great history of athletics, and you have set a standard for our current student athletes to aspire to. I look forward to meeting more of you all, and I hope you have a great homecoming weekend. Welcome home.
Thanks, Jessica. The legacy of success we have been fortunate to develop here at North Central College is one of the best in Division III, and our competitive record in national championships amongst the best in all college sports. At the heart of that legacy is our commitment to our student athletes and coaches. We all work together to provide necessary facilities, equipment, and transportation while making ourselves available for the equally important duties of academic support, career mentorship, and personal guidance, which render benefits far beyond athletics. Today, we come together as a community to celebrate that commitment and the people who best exemplify it. They have done themselves proud, and all of us as well. We honor them in hopes we will inspire all the Cardinals to come. Before we begin today's induction, we pause to recognize 2 members of the Athletics Hall of Fame who have passed away this year. Bill Warden, class of 1955, was the first All-American in the history of the men's basketball program and remains its leading scorer. Bill returned to North Central as the team's head coach and won a school record 204 games in 16 seasons, including conference titles in 1985, 1989, and 1990. Bill remained an active supporter of the program and is recognized at halftime of the team's game last year against Carroll University. John Turpin, class of 1961. John was a first-team all-conference selection on offense and defense for the football program and earned Conference Player of the Year and Little All-American honors as a senior before going on to play in the National Football League for the Minnesota Vikings. John went on to make a name for himself in the entertainment business and regularly traveled to West Africa conducting research. Please join me in taking a moment to honor Bill and John's lives and their enduring commitment to North Central College and its mission with a moment of silence. Thank you. Now it's time to continue one of our greatest athletic traditions. I will introduce each one of our inductees, and we'll see a video with their career highlights. I invite you to learn more about the inductees from the profiles in your programs. After their video, we will honor each of them on stage with a Hall of Fame medal and the signature red jacket, and they'll each be invited to say a few words. Here to present our awards are Dr. Brown, Senior Woman Administrator and Head Softball Coach Venus Taylor, and Assistant Athletic Director for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Brian Johnson, class of 1995. We'll begin with our team inductees, the first of which is the first North Central team to win a national championship. Seems like a no-brainer. The 1958 men's swimming team emerged victorious in just the second NAIA national championship meet ever contested, setting 6 national records to post one of the most dominant performances in the meet to this day.
The first national championship for North Central College came in 1958 with the men's swimming program. The Cardinals won 6 of the 10 events, and their combined scores outpaced the nearest competitor by 33.5 points. The victory began a 6-year stretch, which saw the Cardinals place second in the 1959 and 1960 championships before winning 3 straight national titles in 1961, 1962, and 1963. 5 members of that 1958 team are already in the Hall of Fame. Coach Dr. Eggert Gier, advisor Dr. Hal Henning, and athletes Ernie Alex, John Molitor, and Jim Rank. Congratulations to the first team induction to the North Central College Hall of Fame.
I guess I had it to where we were supposed to applaud there at this time, but yeah, please recognize and join those folks that can make it back here today. I know there are a number of you from the 58 team, and we really appreciate all you did. Congratulations on that very first national championship here at North Central College. Our next two teams to be recognized are the 1975 and the 1976 men's cross-country teams, who won the first back-to-back national titles in Division III history in any sport. The program now has 19 national championships, the most of any team in any division of collegiate athletics.
Yes, they weren't known. They weren't like, oh, here's a guy who's the champ in the mile or the 2 mile. I mean, we didn't have a lot of a pedigree.
I called them the no-names because individually they had no accolades. Individually they had nothing that stood out by themselves. But somehow, and I still remember it and feel it to this day, somehow you put them together and they were successful.
Coming off a second and third place finish in the previous 2 national championships, the no-name Cardinals arrived in Boston in 1975.
And Al comes back from the coaches meeting. There's a list. The top 25 times of all the cross-country meets by everyone there. We don't have one guy listed. The top 25 times, not a guy. So, being the astute coach Al is, he takes that, he crumbles it up. We never show them. And they got out there and they ran beautifully, and you're just kind of going, wow. And I remember where I was and just seeing these guys come thundering through the chute, and you're just kind of going, I think we got it. I think, and you don't know because now it's all chip timed and they would know immediately. Then it was a lot longer, but we just knew we'd run really, really well.
The Cardinals cross-country team had won its first national title. But this put a lot of pressure on the 1976 team.
At the beginning of every cross-country season, I show the guys on the team, say, hey, see this piece of paper? Yeah. What's on it? They say, nothing. Yes, it's blank. You have accomplished nothing. We had 6 of the 7, coming back. However, they have to go through the same process. You can't just say, we're starting where we ended up. No, we got to start from ground zero, and it may be a little bit more rapid that they learn and grow, but it still's got to be the process. They've got to take the steps to get to the top of the mountain. Complacency is one of the worst things that can creep in. They say winning the first national championship is a lot easier than winning the second national championship because complacency sets in and say, hey, we did it before, now it should be easy.
But the team doesn't let complacency set in, and they win back-to-back national championships.
You got to tell them all how very, very proud I am of them. And yes, they won a national championship, and that's fantastic. But I'll say this 1,000 times to anybody. It's not the trophy, it's not the medals, it's not, the All-American certificates, it's not the labels. It is the life lessons that you were learning in the process through being in the program and the person that you become in the program through the process that's going to stay with you. That's far more important to me than any trophy or medal or anything else.
Wow. First of all, I'd like to know, I love that footage. So who took that film? 16 mil, 8 mil, I don't know. And I don't know who that was. It looked like, that was you, Bernd, from the 75 team. He's here, he filmed it. You guys were no names then, but you're not now. That's not in the script, I just ad lib. Congratulations to both teams. Our final team honoree today won the college's first national championship in a women's sport 40 years ago. The 1983 women's basketball team opened the second half of the title game with a 15-0 scoring run to defeat the defending national champions in a game broadcast live on ESPN.
The teammates and I were all looking for a place to play. You know, sports for women were just starting to become more and more popular and more competitive. And there weren't a lot of places that somebody could play unless you were Division I material. So a lot of us chose small schools. So when I came to North Central, met a lot of wonderful friends and met a lot of women that wanted just to play for the love of sports.
Women's basketball has a long tradition at North Central College, with conference play beginning in 1961. But it was the 1983 season that blazed a trail for women's athletics.
That 83 season was, just amazing. We lived and, breathed and ate. We did everything for basketball. We worked really, really hard, and it was very intense, because you knew that you were preparing for something. We knew, I think, in our hearts that this is something we wanted.
The Cardinals went 16-6 in the regular season, with a postseason culminating in an appearance at the 1983 Division III National Championship game against Elizabethtown.
That was a wonderful experience because we went in probably as underdogs. The first half was very Elizabethtown. And then we started plugging away and coming around. And then all of a sudden it was like, wait a minute, we're noticing this scrappy team.
North Central trying to lock up the 1983 NCAA Division III Women's Basketball Championship.
To play in front of that crowd and to be, one of the very first women teams to be on ESPN. That was really exciting. And also probably a little nervous. We kind of had to block all that out because we weren't used to that, But even, afterwards, after we won, we still celebrated with Elizabethtown. So that was the camaraderie of women with sports at that time. We had a winner, we had a loser, but we still at the end came together and celebrated that, women got to play, in a competitive sport.
This team became the first women's team at North Central College to win a national championship.
I truly believe that it's such a wonderful honor and that we could not have done it without every single person. And I just think that, it's just such a wonderful award for everyone because everyone works so hard at it.
Again, you gotta love that ESPN footage. Remember, ESPN didn't start till 1979. So we were right there at the forefront. Congratulations to that 83 team. Our first individual Hall of Fame inductee is Kyle Brady, class of 2010. When North Central completed its historic sweep of the men's cross country and indoor and outdoor track and field championships during the 2009-2010 academic year, Kyle was the only member of the team to compete in all three meets, winning 2 individual national titles and 4 of his 7 All-American awards.
I was going into my 5th year actually, so just trying to come back for one little season, and Kyle is a local freshman coming out of Wheaton-Warrenville South and just chomping at the bit. So usually you're used to not really getting to know the freshmen until they show up on campus, and even then sometimes it takes a year or two, and he is at every long run, every weekend. He's trying to show up for workouts. Very open, very personal, very connected, very not traditional freshman.
Kyle Brady arrived at North Central College at a time when the cross-country and track and field programs saw a slump in performance and podiums.
It was a combination of things in terms of where the culture really was at, the right athletes at the right time, or wrong athletes for that matter, and then just kind of combination, even a rough recruiting class here or there goes a really long way.
But Kyle joined a class of athletes determined to turn things around.
When we needed to turn the culture around, he was there right away. No idea how fast someone's going to be or how talented per se, but he was everything work ethic we needed at the right time for the program.
And Kyle was talented, capping off his North Central College career with team national championships in cross country and both indoor and outdoor track and field. In that final national meet, he earned third in the 5,000 meters and first in the 10,000.
He was willing to do anything he could to help the team, anything he thought was right. He had no issues asking any of the coaches, any of the alumni, anyone he could, any possible way to get better, and that stayed true his entire career.
Today, Kyle works at the Naperville Running Company.
He's still a culture guy. It's the reason we've got him. I'm lucky to have him still here, at Naperville Running Company that many years later, but he's all culture. He's very positive. It's hard to get him riled up. It's hard to get him angry. He was one of those guys that never made anyone else feel bad.
Kyle and his wife Amy, class of 2011, have 3 daughters, Maddie, Ellie, and Paige.
It's my honor to induct Kyle Brady into the Athletic Hall of Fame.
Well, I drew the short straw to go first, but I'm happy I don't have to go after Hal or Jim Miller, so following that would not be great. Just wanted to thank Jim and Mary and the Hall of Fame committee for putting this together. Obviously a lot of work and awesome morning here. And also want to congratulate all the other inductees, individuals, the teams. It's an awesome group to be a part of. When I first got the call from Jim that I was coming into the college's Athletic Hall of Fame, I was humbled and honored to have my name listed among all the people here. It's a special honor that I didn't think I would get to. When I sat down to think about my speech, anytime I thought about lessons and that type of stuff, I just kept coming back to everyone who had helped me get here. So today I want to take the time to honor those people who helped me get to this point in my athletic career. I had some awesome high school coaches and mentors at Wheaton Warrenville South, coaches like Chris Kuntz, Ken Hellberg, Tom Todd, Greta Havey, who got me started in the sport, fed my passion for running. Mentors like Rob Harvey, Ken Popejoy, his 2 sons, who realized my potential and helped push me to North Central. I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for the help of those people. I was fortunate enough to have some amazing teammates during my career. A lot of them are here today in the stands, looking a little younger in those pictures on the video, but I had a little more hair too. But they started as teammates, then turned to friends, then turned to brothers. While we accomplished some amazing things on the track and the cross-country course, like Al said in the video before, those aren't the things that I remember when I look back, and kind of what I miss are the morning runs, shenanigans that we did to get through those every day at 6 o'clock, eating meals at Kaufman at our table, and bus rides to meets, even the ones where Al makes us drive around in the parking lot for 30 minutes to finish Miracle when we weren't done. Another thing that was so awesome about our program was the amazing group of assistant coaches that helped out. A lot of volunteer grad assistant coaches who spent their time just because they wanted to see the program improve and continue to thrive. Like we said in the video, we were in a little different phase when I was here, so I don't think we would have gotten to that point without the help of all those amazing assistant coaches. It was very tremendous. Also with North Central, we're blessed to not only have the 2 best distance coaches in Division III, but the 2 best distance coaches in the entire NCAA. So I think we should give Alan Grammy another round of applause. And I was lucky enough to run here for 4 years, but then also help assistant coach with them for 8 years. So those 12 years were just so special, and being on both sides to see Alan Grammy and all the other coaches was an amazing time. Those lessons that I learned here at North Central from both being an athlete and coaching will continue to live with me the rest of my life. So I'm forever grateful for these 2 and everybody else for creating such a special place for us to be a part of. Another person that I couldn't accomplish any of this with was my wife, Amy. We started dating right after my junior year, and when we started dating, I was a 0-time All-American, so I think it's pretty obvious who should deserve most of the credit for everything. So, round of applause. she always supported me. And then also now we have 3 beautiful daughters who she's watching right now and cheering. They made me promise that I would give them a shout out during the speech. So Maddie, Ellie, and Paige, hello. And I don't know if Mahesh is here, but if he is, you can send any recruiting materials to my address, because we have 3 future Cardinals there, hopefully. Be awesome. And then last, I just want to thank my family for all their support. My brother Casey, who's being dragged to probably more cross country and track meets than he would have liked growing up, but he was there. And then my parents for their constant support and encouragement, from driving me to morning practices, hardly missing a meet. I definitely wouldn't have gotten here without their help. I'll always remember they drove 4 hours up to Hillsdale, Michigan to watch me run a 5K in 15 minutes and then turned around 4 hours home to get to work the next day. So their support as parents are kind of what I strive and try to model for my own kids today. Without the help and support of all these people that I mentioned and others that I didn't mention, I definitely wouldn't have gotten to this point. And this award is just as much for them as it is for me. Thank you.
Congratulations, Kyle. Our next inductee is Sean Delaney from the class of 1992. Sean is the highest drafted North Central player ever in the Major League Baseball first-year player draft, playing in the Kansas City Royals system after earning first-team All-American honors for the Cardinals.
Hard worker, had a vision, wanted to be the best he could be, wasn't afraid to get after it in the weight room, wasn't afraid to put the extra time in, very dedicated.
Sean Delaney came to North Central College and played catcher for the Cardinals.
There's a mentality that comes with it. I mean, you've got to want to be able to mix it up. You've got to want to be the center of focus. Then to be an offensive presence as well requires a lot. Sean was that. He was that total package. He could catch, he could throw, he could hit with power, and he could also run for a catcher, which at that time was isn't something that people talk about, but he was a very good runner too.
Sean's versatility helped contribute to 105 Cardinal victories during his tenure. And in his senior season, he earned American Baseball Coaches Association First Team All-American honors. That versatility also led to a post-collegiate baseball career.
So he was drafted by the Kansas City Royals, and he went out and he was in the minor leagues with the Kansas City Royals for 5 years. And again, that's the best of the best, right? And you're competing against people that are Division I guys and big time high school drafts. So, to be able to stay in it that long is a testament to who you are. I mean, not everybody's going to make it through to the big leagues, but to be able to stay in it that long is a compliment in itself.
Sean played 5 seasons of professional baseball, 4 of which were teams within the Royals organization.
This school, this program, this history of the athletic department, there are so many worthy. We've had so many great successes, and to have Sean be on that list, I think it's well earned. I think he deserves it. As the baseball coach, as someone who is an alum from here, played baseball myself, to have another baseball guy in the Hall of Fame, I think is great for our program too.
Sean and his wife Nicole have 5 children: Megan, Nicholas, Jacob, Emma, and Sophia.
It's my honor to induct Sean Delaney into the Athletic Hall of Fame.
Good morning. Just wanted to take this in a little bit. This is certainly not something that you ever think of the day you step on this campus, but a little overwhelming. Jim, thank you. Selection committee, thank you everybody for attending this morning. And congratulations are in order to Coach Matthew and the baseball team. I saw an article. They were recently ranked number 21 of all Division III baseball programs in the country, and those rankings were based on the last 3 years' winning percentage. So, congratulations, Tad. So the last time I spoke in front of this many people was last June at my daughter's wedding, and I had the speech prepared. I thought I had it pretty short and tight, and my wife said I rambled for about 20 minutes. Well, I only have 5 today, so we're going to make this pretty short and sweet. Earlier this week, Ed asked me out to speak to the team before their practice, share my story and a few pearls of wisdom. Hopefully I did that. I don't know if any of the guys are here, but thank you for having me out. So I thought I would share a little bit more of my story with you guys today. I grew up in Berwyn. My mom still lives in the same house I grew up in. Mom, if you're watching, I hope you're doing well. Attended Fenwick High School from 1984 to 1988, North Central College, 1988 to 1992. As the video said, I was fortunate enough to be drafted by the Kansas City Royals in the 23rd round and spent 5 years in their organization. 1 year with the St. Paul Saints up in the Northern League, which is an independent league. After that, I actually opened up a baseball academy with a fellow Cardinal baseball player, Aaron Dwyer. I don't know if Aaron's here, but he and I ran a baseball academy for a couple years together. After that, I went to work and sold copiers for Jay Grahowski, who was my hitting coach here at North Central College. And I don't think Jay's here either, but when he watches the video, thanks, Jay, that was the worst working year of my life. Don't sell copiers. After that, I went into commercial real estate. I've been selling self-storage facilities for almost 20 years now. I've been with the same firm since December of 2003. Currently live in Glen Ellen. I have 5 children, as the video said. Megan has graduated college, is married, lives down in Tennessee, and works as a nurse. My twin boys, Nicholas and Jacob, I think they're watching from their hotel room. They both play hockey. Jacob had a game last night in Sioux City. He plays in the USHL and is going to be going to Miami of Ohio to play hockey. My other son, Nicholas, goes to the University of Kentucky studying communications. He had a game last night at Miami of Ohio. And then my younger girls, Emma and Sophia. Hi, sweetie. She's videotaping me so she can make fun of me later. They both attend St. Francis, and they are both volleyball players. And for the last 21 and a half years, I've been married to my beautiful wife, Nicole, my best friend. Thank you, sweetie. So when I thought back after Jim called and I had to start, Jim called and said, I'm being inducted into the Hall of Fame, and I had to come up with a speech, and what do you say? What impacted your life? Well, the thing that really changed my life, and I think back, there's events that happened that changed the course of your life. And in July, the summer of 1988, Coach Purcell called my house. That wouldn't be a big event, but at the time I was already enrolled at Aurora University. I had a class schedule. I had a roommate. Coach Purcell called and said, just come out to the college. So I did, and the rest is history. That event truly changed the trajectory of my life. So there's a number of people that I need to thank today. The reason I'm standing on this stage wearing this red blazer, Coach Purcell, Coach Matthew, Jay Grahowski, Tim Perrano, Frank Janzak, Tom Arico, all were coaches while I was here. I'm sure I'm leaving somebody out. Tom Murphy and Tony Lovato were scouts for the Kansas City Royals. And then maybe the most impactful coach that I had, somebody that Ed Matthew had introduced me to, was the guy named Tom Garnett. He was my catching coach. In one summer, he completely changed my game, put me on, because believe me, I was not on anybody's list in terms of Major League Baseball up until after my junior year. The summer between my sophomore and junior year is really what put me on the map, and that was thanks to Ed Matthew and Tom Garnett. Thanks to all my teammates, Mom and Dad. Mom, like I said, I hope you're doing well at home. Wish you could be here, but I know you can't. And my dad. My father passed away. Excuse me. passed away earlier this year. This would have been a really proud moment for him. He would be grinning ear to ear. Excuse me. He would have been really happy to be here. My apologies. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Sean. Thank you for sharing. Our next honoree is Aaron Fanthorpe, class of 2010. Aaron was just the second player in CCIW history to win 3 straight Offensive Player of the Year awards and led the Cardinals to their first back-to-back CCIW championships in 60 years. The football program won 19 of 21 conference games with Aaron as its starting quarterback.
Aaron and I actually both played together in high school, and it's like we always knew where we were on the field and just had that connection. And so it started in high school. We had an unbelievable 1 season in high school, a ton of fun together. And then obviously he was actually a big influence on me in terms of coming to North Central.
Aaron Fanthorpe earned his spot as North Central College's starting quarterback as a sophomore. He went on to win CCIW Offensive Player of the Year honors 3 times. And in his final season, he led a Cardinal offense that was top in the nation for scoring.
The best way I can describe Aaron is just an ultimate competitor. He's able to bring the most out of everyone he's around and make everyone around him better because that level of competitiveness and drive is just infectious.
And where Aaron truly excelled was his ability to connect with his teammates on and off the field.
My freshman year, there was our first round playoff game against Franklin. We won on a last-second touchdown pass. Literally, it was like a Disney movie. It was like time was expiring. Time had already expired as the play was going on, and we were on like the 19-yard line going in, and we had a touchdown pass connection as time expired, and the whole team jumped all over us and everything. It was seriously like a Disney movie.
The Cardinals went 28-6 with Aaron as starting quarterback.
I don't know if there's somebody more deserving with the effort and the sacrifices that he made for this program, and I think he was really one of those people that were pivotal as this program really started to launch. He was one of those guys that played a big role there. So,
Aaron and his wife Lisa, from the class of 2009, have 2 children, Henry and Miles.
It's my honor to induct Aaron Fanthorpe into the Athletic Hall of Fame.
I don't have it on paper, I have it on my phone, so. Thank you, everyone, for being here. This is really special for me. I grew up in Naperville, and I went to Highlands Elementary School right behind the baseball field. I remember when it was a grass field with wooden bleachers, and it's really special for me to be up here, and I'm extremely grateful for everyone that was a part of the process from growing up into high school and into college. So congratulations to all the inductees. It's really an honor to be up here and looking at everyone out here today, and Coach Thorne and Cam. It's a really special moment for me. And thanks, Jim Miller, and everyone for putting this on. This is incredible. But obviously, when I got the call from Jim, like some others, you can only think about how many people helped you get through to put me up here on the stage today. So I'm going to start with my mom and dad. Obviously, they gave me the opportunity to play football, and I guess it worked out. They had made so many sacrifices for me, just for me to play sports, for me and my brothers, who I'm going to thank next, because the countless hours of sports that we played, and just having you guys and challenge me both on and off the field, it made me who I am today. So thank you to both of my parents and my brothers. And next is to Lisa, and Lisa's my wife, and to my little boys, Henry and Miles. He's waving back there. Had to give him a shout out. And to all my nephews too. You guys get a shout out too. But Lisa and I actually met here at North Central, and that's kind of what makes this special again. It's just this place is both really special for us, and you know, we've been married for 8 years now with 2 boys living in Austin, Texas, and life is good. To my friends, I mean, there's a lot of people that I grew up with that just were in the stands at all my games, that supported me, and it really motivated me to be the best player I could be. So thank you to all my friends, and then my coaches. When I got to North Central, I had a lot of work to do. I had to develop as a player, as a person, balancing, you know, school and football, and made some changes. But what was really cool about the coaching staff here is they were able to adjust the way I played football and the quarterback position specifically, and that wasn't easy to do because I don't know how many of you know how I played the game, but I didn't typically slide or run out of bounds. So I like to take on hits. It was strange, but they were able to adjust to that style, and you know, put me in situations that I was going to succeed. So Coach Thorne and Coach Jeff and Coach Spencer, special shout out because he recruited me from Naperville North, and I actually grew up watching him play. And what's cool is my mom actually still has the postcard that he wrote me after I made the decision to come to North Central. So Coach Spencer is really special, and you know, congratulations to all the success he's having here now as well. The faculty and staff, I mean, we were kind of given field time when we wanted it, and you know, they prepared everything for us. The athletic trainers, I was constantly in there getting treatment, and so all those people played a role in putting me up on this stage today. Last is my teammates, well not last, but my teammates and supporters. You know, a few of them are here today. Josh Delancey, he played right tackle. He protected me, so I had to give him a shout out too. But all my teammates, I mean, we formed a brotherhood, and we played the game well together, and lots of them I'm still friends with today. You know, we have a text message chain going on with 3 of them that, you know, I constantly stay in contact, and it's just the relationships is kind of what I'm getting at that I pulled away from this. All the achievements and everything is great, but the relationships and, you know, staying in contact with all the coaches and players is really special. And all the fans too. I mean, we were able to put a lot of people in the stadium, and you don't know how motivating that is because you just want to play well for people. So it's just extra motivating. And you know, North Central has provided me with, you know, more than just a platform to play athletics. They set me up for life, and I met my wife here, and it's just incredible that I'm up here today, and I just can't, I'm so grateful, and thank you so much to everyone.
Congratulations, Aaron. Our next inductee is David Jones, class of 1994. On the final attempt of the final meet of his career, David clinched the 1994 National Championship at outdoor track and field with a personal best effort in the triple jump, an event he claimed All-American honors 5 times.
He was a very hard worker. They all had a common goal, you know, to win the national championships, and they all, you know, worked very hard together, including David and all his teammates.
David Jones entered North Central College with a desire to specialize in the triple jump.
Well, running is part of jumping. You know, it's a short runway, a short sprint, but you know, there's a lot of mechanics involved, and Coach Malinsky was a great technician, and really, you know, I believe David was in the 44-foot range his freshman year, and you know, was almost jumped 49 feet by the time he was a senior.
David earned top honors in the triple jump for the CCIW 2 years in a row, and capped his career with an impressive showing at the Outdoor National Championships.
The 94 championships was, you know, very, very special. The highlight of that meet, because it was the last event, was, you know, David. The triple jump was usually the last event going on. We're always sitting around waiting for the triple jump to finish. But he came up to Coach Malinsky and said, okay, what do I have to do? And Coach said, if you stay in 5th place, we lose by 1. If you get 4th, we tie. If you get 3rd, we win. David hops, skips, and jumps down the runway for a personal best, and he gets 3rd place, and we win. It was a great, great team effort, and it was great to have the whole team sitting down here, standing down here, watching the final event where we, you know, won by 1 point, 75-74 over UW La Crosse.
David is a 5-time All-American in one event, but for his coaches, he's more than that.
We always take pride in winners in life, and you know, it's great to have the medals and the trophies, but you know, David's an outstanding individual. He's a father, you know, he's got a career, and you know, he's a winner in life.
David has 3 children, Olivia, Winston, and Milan, and 1 18-month-old grandson.
Congratulations, David.
Good afternoon, and welcome to my home, North Central College, also known as the National Championships College. Earlier this morning, they asked, are you nervous? Are we gonna, you know, do you have your story laid out? And I'm like, nah, I don't have it. I don't have it. Are you nervous? And I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of nervous, but nah, because I was well prepared and have been well prepared. So as I thank everyone who helped me get here, I got to start from the 80s, then move to the 90s. And I'd like to start with thanking my mother and my father. I'm honored that they're here. Thank you for your patience, your support, and everything else. I got to thank my best friend, Oliver Speller, from Hyde Park, south side of Chicago. We would get up, you know, in the early 80s, mid 80s, and run on the lakefront. We would push each other just to be better in whatever it is we wanted to do, no matter if it was academics, sports, being a good father, being a good man, we would do that. Also, let me see, before, I don't think I would be here if it wasn't for Walter Johnson, who at the time was the multicultural director. He was a recruiter, he was athletic director, but back in 1988, never even heard of North Central College, and I see Walter at a track meet in the summer, and that's where he met my parents. And, you know, we stayed in contact. And he successfully recruited me to North Central College. Gotta give special thanks to my high school track coach, Art Mernan, the guy who taught me how to do a triple jump. You know, when you just have a lot of energy and you're just running around the place, he said, look, hey man, come here. This is what I'm gonna teach you to do. You could do this. But after hundreds of thousands of stairs at Providence St. Mel High School on the west side. I think some of my teammates are here, Corey, Lamont. My knees pop every day, every time I move because of that, but it was well worth it. We pushed each other, like I said, in the classroom, out on the field, we pushed each other to do our best. And then coming to North Central College, where I have to say rest in peace to my good friend, Anthony Brent. He was the first All-American here at North Central from Providence St. Mel High School. And unfortunately, about maybe 10 years, 12 years ago, Anthony passed of lung cancer at the age of 40. So take care of yourself, stay in good health. But he was my first roommate at North Central College. Alonzo Alexander, who I believe was inducted previously, he was my second roommate. And my third roommate, Jamon Lomax, is here as well. So I want to thank my roommates for putting up with me. At the time, CDs had just come out, and you could play them on repeat, and I would repeat the same song all night, and they would just wonder, like, are you really listening to that, or are you just playing it? It's kind of funny, but give a big thanks to my roommates. I also have to give a lot of thanks to the members of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. We have a couple brothers here. We have a number of brothers here from Pi Sigma chapter and other alumni chapters, where being a part of a fraternity in college keeps you well aligned with your future goals. Gave me the opportunity to feel comfortable speaking in front of people. Also created some very good, strong friendships and lifelong bonds that were strongly developed here at North Central and still run strong to this day. I also like to thank my coaches, Al and Grammy. They really sealed the deal on getting me here, but after I got here, Coach Doug Malinsky, who was the jump coach, that was who met with me every day, that was who pushed me every day, that was who refined my technique, he focused my energy, and as I said, true story in the video, which I was a little nervous of what videos they had and pictures from back in the day. It was the 80s, early 90s. But Doug was very a matter of fact. And Doug knew that, you know, one of my lifelong dreams was to win a ring, to win a national championship ring. So we're down a point. Doug walks up to me and says, man, if you want one of these, this is what you need to do. And then he walked away. No pressure, no pressure, no pressure. All right, okay. And a true story, I say that first outdoor national championship meet was in Ohio, Baldwin Wallace. And, you know, everybody's on the bus. We're checked out of the hotel, they're on the bus, they're like, man, when is David gonna finish? Because we're trying to get back to Chicago. When is David gonna finish? So for, you know, the previous 3 years, was always the last person competing. Then, across the street, in 1993, in Fort Hill, Brian Johnson lived a couple doors down. And we just sitting around talking, and he's like, man, what if it all comes down to you, Frosty? Shit, I guess if it comes down to somebody, it is gonna come down to me, because normally everybody else is waiting on me to finish. But just that conversation alone helped kind of calm the moment, because we have talked about it before. You visualize yourself competing, especially on a national level, and it's like, man, what if it does all come down to me? What would I do? So thanks, Brian, for that conversation. Also out there on the track that day, you know, Walter Johnson just walked up to me. He said, Frosty, just take it in, man. No pressure. Just take it in. Take all this in. Because it's over after this. You know, when you're a senior, it's like, damn, this is it. But just take it in, stay calm, stay collective, and it happened. So 94, that was, man, probably one of the best years of my life. That one Saturday, won a national championship. The next Saturday, graduated from college, I have a picture that I tore my parents' house up looking for. My college graduation picture is President Hal Wilde giving me a hug on the stage. Wish I had that picture, and congratulations on your induction. And also, later on, shortly after that, my oldest daughter, Olivia, was born in '94. She's here today with my grandson, Lennox, and I'm happy they can make it. But I went from being called Frosty, loving the snow. Now I've relocated. I live out in Phoenix, Arizona. So it's a little cool this weekend. Let's give a special thanks to my new family, Ileana Loya, Alex Loya. They traveled here with me. They're braving the cold as I am. But really, I just want to say, you know, life isn't about luck. And Al Carey has told me as a young man, luck is the result of hard work meeting preparation. Once you're given the opportunity to do something, if you're prepared, just do what you've been prepared to do. And that's why I have this ring, and that's why I'm here today. And I'd just like to say thank you to everyone. Thank you to North Central. Thank you to the committee. Thank you, Jim, for giving me the call, changing my life, and giving me the jacket. Thank you, everyone.
Great stories. Congratulations, David. Our next inductee is Gina Fisher-Kamek, class of 2016, a three-time Conference Player of the Year honoree and the holder of nearly every program record upon graduation. Gina is the first lacrosse player to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Yes.
We started, as freshmen. We had probably about 6 or 7 of us, and we actually stayed really close all through senior year. When we all came together, we played the best.
Gina Fisher-Kamek arrived at North Central College, already a dominant force for the women's lacrosse team, starting every game that first season.
It's a mix of like soccer, basketball, maybe a little hockey and field hockey, but it's definitely a lot of hand-eye coordination. They say it's the fastest sport on 2 feet, so you kind of need a little of everything, and it's involved with, you know, upper body, lower body, so you need to have good endurance too, so I think it's a little combo of every sport involved, which is kind of cool. She was great. She's a strong athlete. I mean, she's tiny, but she's not tiny. She's thin, but she's a really strong athlete. She doesn't look like it from the outside, but she was really, she was a smart player on the field and fast enough and was great at defense and checks, so she had it all.
As a midfielder, Gina played offense and defense and set several program records, including goals, assists, ground balls, and caused turnovers.
I remember a play actually, I was like saving the ball from going out of bounds, and Gina was behind me and she's like, "Hey, B," and I like flicked it back to her, she caught it, and then she went straight to goal and scored, so it was kind of cool. Things like that is just kind of like we read off each other really well, which is kind of cool to say, so.
And Gina is still involved with lacrosse.
After college, we coached for New Wave Lacrosse, which is a club in Naperville, and then it eventually evolved recently. It's called Team One West. So now I am up north. It's called Team One Girls Lacrosse Club, and we both now are directors for the program, which is awesome. So yeah, we get to work together, and we're back at it doing the same things that we did even after college, so it's kind of cool.
Gina is married to Vince, a 2014 graduate and the North Central College head men's basketball coach.
It's my honor to induct Gina Fisher-Kamek into the Athletic Hall of Fame.
It is an absolute honor and privilege to stand up here today with this group of inductees and former Hall of Famers in attendance. To no surprise, North Central Athletics had another outstanding past 12 months, from nominating me into the Hall of Fame, thank you for that, to the hiring of an exceptional new men's basketball coach who happens to be my husband. And I guess football had a pretty decent year too. But in all seriousness, I appreciate all the hard work that went into creating such a memorable homecoming weekend for the students, alumni, and their family and friends. When I was told I had to give a speech today, I figured I'd just talk a little bit about how I got to North Central in my first year here. So similar to most of the individuals standing on this stage with me, my childhood was filled with every sport under the sun. And my mom and dad coached most of my teams, and my older sister played a lot of sports too. So our weekend family time was pretty much spent in a gym or on a field. While I didn't exactly have lacrosse mapped out as the plan, I knew that sports would remain a huge part of my life as I grew older. Unlike most college athletes' career path though, my lacrosse journey didn't start until the later age of 14. Although it's grown a lot since then, Missouri lacrosse wasn't exactly easy to access. The middle schools didn't have any teams, and not even all the high schools had teams. So my first experience playing the sport wasn't until a camp I attended eighth grade going into the summer, or my freshman year of high school. Luckily, due to how much basketball I played growing up, a lot of those skills transferred over, so it was pretty easy to catch on, but most of the credit is due to my high school coach, Dr. Anderson, who ingrained a winning culture in our program and really instilled a strong foundation that streamlined my transition to the college game. I joined the only club program available in the state my junior year, and that summer we ended up attending a tournament in Naperville, Illinois, a town I had never heard of at the time. But one of the coaches from North Central College was there recruiting, and she invited my family to come check out the campus before we left town to go back home. I had just finished my third game of the day in 90-degree weather, so the last thing I wanted to do was stick around town. I wanted to get back in the car and go home, but sure enough, my dad dragged me to campus so we could meet the coach and tour the grounds. Although I was impressed by the actual campus, downtown Naperville was what really caught my eyes. I'm sure most of the alumni can agree with me on that. My dad and I had gone on several recruiting trips at this point, but North Central was climbing to the top of the list for a few different reasons, superficial or not. The first was our mascot. Being from St. Louis, the Cardinals were a pretty big deal, and so the Cardinal already held a special place in our hearts. Number two were the school colors. Black and red were the same colors as my high school and my sister's college lacrosse team. So our closets were already pretty much game day ready. And last but definitely not least was the food. And I'm not talking about our dining hall here. My family had Portillo's for the first time that trip. So the persuasion to make this my home for the next 4 years was definitely a little more obvious. Needless to say, I committed to North Central in April of my senior year. I had two main goals early on in my career: making the starting lineup after proving myself in fall ball, and getting my hands on my lucky jersey number 13 from one of the upperclassmen. To my disappointment, I only achieved one of those two goals that year. I even tried to bribe her with a gift card, but no luck. From here on, I was number 23, but I was also a starting midfielder. We had some super talented upperclassmen coupled with a strong freshman class that Bianca mentioned in the video, 4 of them being from St. Louis. And we ended up with our best season in program history and made it to the conference championship. I fell in love with the team, the school, and my future husband that freshman year, so I knew I'd made the right decision in picking North Central. Now to give some thanks and recognition to the people who helped get me on this stage. First and foremost, my family, my mom, dad, and my sister remain huge figures in my life for support and advice. And you would have never known we lived 4.5 hours away because they pretty much attended all of our home games, even if that meant leaving work early on a Wednesday afternoon, racing down 55 to get to my 7 p.m. game, just to turn around and drive home that night to get to work in the next morning. They claim it because they love watching me play lacrosse so much, but as I mentioned earlier, they also love Portillo's, so that was always our post-game spot, and that made the trip a little bit more worthwhile for them. To my husband Vince, who has fueled my competitive fire for the last 10 years, and to my in-laws who are in the audience today to support me. Now for my team. Between my head coaches, assistant coaches, graduate assistants, faculty mentors, and athletic trainers, there are many faces and voices that pour their time into making sure our experience was just as meaningful off the field as it was on. A lot of our team's most favorite memories weren't something that could be captured in the stat sheets, but were memories from our spring break trips or the bonds that we formed to and from away games on the bus rides. With 12 people on the field at a time, lacrosse is very much a team sport, and none of my individual success could come without the success of the people around me. So thank you to my teammates who left such a lasting impression on me. And lastly, I'm fortunate to say that lacrosse is still a focal point of my life today. I get to coach young girls every single day and hope to instill the same love and passion for the game that I have. And who knows, 20 years from now, hopefully one of them will be mentioning me in their Hall of Fame speech. Thank you.
Congratulations, Gina. Our next inductee is Vlasta Mangia Scherer, class of 2015. Vlasta is the softball program's all-time leader in pitching victories, who contributed to 115 wins in her 4-year career, leading the Cardinals to a regional championship as a senior.
She's like a natural born leader without saying anything, which I think is very hard to do and very impressive. But she definitely stood out kind of right away when I met her as someone that would be a good leader and kind of lead our team and also be a good friend. So we kind of clicked right away.
Pitching for the North Central College softball team all 4 years, Vlasta Mangia Scherer led the Cardinals to 115 victories and holds the college records for pitching victories and innings pitched.
So traditionally, pitchers kind of have like a typical personality. They are more of the center of attention, and Vlasta is not that at all. So it's kind of an interesting combination. She started most of our games for us and never wanted to be pulled. She fought through many games injured. She'd get pulled for an inning or two, and she'd go sit in the bullpen and keep throwing. Like, I want to go back. She was very, very dedicated.
For Vlasta, being a part of the team was about more than playing softball.
We spent a ton of time together, hours and hours, day after day, week after week. Even like in the off season, we spend a lot of time together, so you gotta have fun.
But Vlasta's friends, family, and teammates might not even know she's being inducted into the Hall of Fame.
So I found out from you, actually. She'd never told me, which is very classic, typical Vlasta. She's very humble. She would never nominate herself for this. She would never tell anybody about this. I've reached out to a couple other teammates who also have not, they don't know, because she I think, doesn't think she's as deserving as she is. But I 100% am not at all surprised. She's a really good player, a really good leader, and very deserving of this.
Vlasta is married to Justin, a fellow alum of North Central College from the class of 2014.
And she was a great hitter. She's in the top 10 of many categories as a hitter, too. It's my honor to induct Vlasta Mangia Scherer into the Athletic Hall of Fame.
Bear with me. Tears of joy and gratitude. Oh, jeez. I practiced. I just. I'm beyond grateful to be inducted into the North Central College Hall of Fame. Having this opportunity to express how truly thankful I am is an honor. Oh, God. This is being recorded. Jeez. Okay. Let's see what I can get out. Excuse me. There are so many amazing individuals out. I can't even read right now. Who I believe earned this achievement with me. I couldn't have done it without each and every one of you. Starting with my family. Thank you, Dad. See you over there? Already crying, so I might as well look. Thank you for teaching me how to pitch and the many hours playing. Oh, God. I'm trying to stay within that 5 minutes, I'm sorry. Had it clocked at 4:25, and I don't know if I'm gonna make it, but all right. Okay, so thank you. Jeez. Okay. Thank you for teaching me how to pitch and the many hours playing catch in front of our home. Those practices are some of my favorite childhood memories. And yes, that includes running down the block to chase my wild pitches while you waited. To my sisters, thank you. I look up to all of you, even though I'm the tallest. Seriously though, I've learned so much from the three of you. I'd like to start with Rose. Thank you to my sister Rose for allowing me to hog Dad, inspiring me to work on my movement pitches and to believe in myself that I could play on the varsity high school team with you. I absolutely cherish those seasons we played together. Thank you to my sister Danella for coaching me in t-ball, where my love for the game began. Thank you to my sister Tara for always showing up and teaching me there's always room for improvement. And with a little hard work and finding new ways to challenge myself, like playing in a men's competitive fast pitch softball league in Humboldt Park. Not last, but as far as family section, Mom, thank you for being our family's biggest cheerleader. Simply put, thank you for being our mom. You and Dad have done so much for our family. We are so grateful and love you both very much. Thank you to my college sweetheart, now husband of 7 years, Justin. Your love and support for over a decade means the world. Thank you to Chris and Jerry for raising this wonderful goofball I met at North Central. I love you so much. To all of my family not mentioned, thank you. You have done so much for me throughout my life. I'm forever and always grateful. I love you all. Next on the list, I would like to thank my Cardinal family. When I hear North Central, I think of a home away from home. I think of just all the amazing people here, just all around great people, including these people right here on the stage and out there. Yeah, I'm delighted to celebrate everyone's accomplishments today. Moving on to coaches. Thank you, Coach K, Coach TK, Coach Marcy, Coach Holly, Coach E, the list goes on and on. Every coach, thank you. Absolutely thank you. I'm so blessed to be able to say that all my coaches are truly amazing. And their passion, their wisdom, their support, their dedication have made a lasting impact on on so many wonderful women over the years, myself included. Thank you for everything, Coach K, Coach DK. I know you're here, all the other coaches. Oh boy, teammates, all right. Get myself ready. Thank you all so much. I wish I could go one by one and thank you all individually, but that 5 minutes, really. But you lovely ladies will always have a special place in my heart. Thank you for all the wonderful memories on and off the field, including a personal favorite, you guys yelling fence and me just crashing right into it. Non-stop, just not a care in the world, to singing karaoke poolside in Florida. That was a good one. Homework sessions and res rec, could never really focus, could we? Non-stop cheering in the dugout, go Cards, right? Through all the wins, all the very silent van rides home after a loss. Very silent, especially in Coach K's van. I'll never stop cherishing these memories and countless others. Really, we earned this achievement together. I love you all. Thank you so much, and go Cards.
Congratulations, Boston. Thank you. Our next inductee is Gabe Ewell, class of 2011. Gabe followed his brother Ben to North Central and now joins him in the Hall of Fame after becoming the second wrestler in the college's history to qualify for the national championship competition 4 times and earn 3 All-American awards.
I guess our wrestling journey started when we were children. We knew our dad and his brother and were wrestlers growing up, and it was a big thing on that side of the family. So as first and second graders, we went out for the Crystal Lake Wizards Club. And then we ended up wrestling for 15, 16 years together after that.
Gabe Ewell came to North Central College, following his brother's footsteps, to wrestle as a Cardinal.
And my brother was looking at college programs to wrestle with. And so probably the best decision I made while I was at North Central was to call my brother up and ask if he would wrestle on the same team as me.
It was a good decision for the North Central College wrestling program as well. Gabe won the CCIW championship all 4 years, qualified for nationals all 4 years, and earned All-America honors 3 times.
Wrestling rewards hard work. And if you're willing to kind of grind it out, kind of subject yourself to some difficult practices, to weight cutting, to being disciplined with your diet, then over the long haul, most of the time, if you stay disciplined, it pays off in the end. Gabe matches that mold because he's not afraid of hard work.
But Gabe almost gave up wrestling.
Wrestling is a very difficult sport to love. And by 4th or 5th grade, we thought we were done wrestling, but didn't want to disappoint our father unless we were disappointing him together. And my dad said, oh, the Wizards wrestling program put out their flyer to sign you up for this winter. Do you want to wrestle this winter? I balked and I said, sure, yeah, I'd love to wrestle. And then my dad goes inside, asks my brother, and my brother starts off with, oh, Ben and I said that we are probably not going to wrestle this year. And my dad's like, really? Ben just said that he was going to wrestle. And so I totally left Gabe out in the cold. I sold him out. So I hope as you're getting inducted into the Hall of Fame that you accept this apology from 5th grade me that I couldn't keep the promise.
Gabe and his wife Noreen have 2 children, Vivian and Wade.
You have to love those pictures. Are they cute or what? My goodness. It's my honor to induct Gabe Ewell into the Athletic Hall of Fame.
All right. I wanted to begin with some thank yous. Mom and Dad, thank you for all the time spent at practices, at tournaments, at driving around and being supportive over the years. Thank you for delaying certain holiday meals until after weigh-ins. Thank you for the basement film sessions, Dad, to perfect the technique. And thank you for requiring at least 20 throws on Ivan. Ivan is a wrestling dummy before being able to go out with my friends growing up. Uncle Josh, thank you for being one of my loudest and best fans at a lot of my matches. Thank you to my sisters for being the best fans and for learning to love wrestling. My sister Evelyn, who's here today, loved wrestling so much she decided to marry a wrestler. Coach Tatelman, my high school coach, thank you for just in general being an awesome coach and teaching me the outside firemen's, which really became my only effective form of taking somebody down. The Bratlin brothers, Carl and Kevin, for just being unexpectedly great coaches in college and keeping wrestling fun. My brother Ben, who you saw in the video, I guess thank you for keeping me wrestling, which I didn't remember that story, but thank you for encouraging me to come to North Central. Thank you for being my practice partner in basically every sport, even my doubles partner during our season on the North Central tennis team, which you will notice was not mentioned in the video. Additionally, I wanted to thank 2 people who I'm honored here to be on stage with today. President Hal Wilde, thank you for always being supportive of North Central Athletics. I will always remember you coming over to Edwards Hospital when my sister Maggie was there. I think it was just Ben and I. We had our own personal pizza with the president, so thank you for that. Coach Miller, I remember having my first meal ever on campus with you about 20 or so years ago at Kaufman Dining Hall. I also remember all your support during wrestling and taking the time to also visit us at Edwards Hospital as well when my sister was there. So thank you both. As I was reflecting on wrestling and on North Central, my head immediately went to how much over 184 pounds I currently am. I mean, don't guess. Quickly though, my mind turned to happier thoughts. So to that end, I am grateful I survived being a chemistry major at North Central. While I was the worst chemistry major probably in school history, it taught me to be observant, questioning, and thoughtful in my career. I'm grateful for wrestling. It taught me how to compete, how to focus, and really how to focus on your strengths, where you don't need to be exceptional at everything, but if you're really exceptional at a few good things, focus on those and it can take you quite far. I am grateful for having the group of guys who stuck it out with me for 4 years. This is in weight class order: Joey, Jake, Quan, Schroeder, Vinny, and Rod the Bod. Finally, I'm happy to see that the men's and women's wrestling programs are performing at incredibly high levels and under excellent leadership. With that, I'd like to send a thank you to my family again, to the sport of wrestling, and to North Central College. Thank you.
Congratulations, Gabe. For the first time, we have a former North Central College president as a special inductee to the Hall of Fame. Hal Wilde served the college as its president for 22 years, creating opportunities for student athletes to excel through the building of new and improved facilities, new athletic programs, and enhancements to all areas of student life. Hal's tenure as president saw North Central teams win 16 national championships and 91 CCIW championships. It's my honor to, well, it's not my honor to induct him yet. But watch the video.
No one loved athletics more than Hal. No one. And when people think of North Central athletics, they think of the greats. I think of Hal because he thought about what this place could be as it relates to athletics. And he allowed people to do the things that were necessary to make athletics great.
For Hal Wilde, 9th president of North Central College, athletics always played an important part in the student experience.
He really believed that athletics could make a person, could stretch a person beyond where they think that they could go, and that wonderful education was about stretching a person beyond where they think academically they can go.
During Hal's presidency, 3 new athletic programs were added: women's soccer, women's golf, and women's lacrosse. His tenure also saw the construction of Benedetti Worley Stadium, Zimmerman Stadium, and the Residence Hall Recreation Center.
I think about the Res Rec. This is how students live their life. They go to practice, they come home, they do things. Why not put those things together? He wanted us to be great in everything, and he made it so. It seems easy, but it's not. It's millions of dollars, and it's great planning, and it's being able to fundraise and convince people that you're going to have a great experience academically and athletically, and it's going to change your life.
Hal was always a visible presence to the athletes of North Central College. From greeting the cross-country team on their morning run, to attending as many games as possible.
It chokes me up to think about it. How many people whose lives were completely changed by coming to North Central and studying, maybe even for the first time doing research, and finding themselves intellectually advancing in ways that they never thought. And then they'd go down and play volleyball and win conference championships, and they'd play football and win national championships. And they'd certainly run cross country and do it better than anyone. I attribute that incredible change in students, not just to the coaches who did an unbelievable job, but to Hal, because he was the leader and he had a vision and he made it happen.
Hal served as president for 22 years alongside his wife, Benna. They have 3 children and 6 grandchildren.
It's my honor to induct Hal Wilde into the Athletic Hall of Fame.
First, I got to do a shout out to my wife, Benna, and my son, Henry, who supported me and Cardinal athletics for over 30 years. And to President Anita Thomas, who I was here earlier. She's probably out working the crowd and doing what presidents do, but who is a wonderful addition to the North Central family. My son always said, never give a retired president a microphone. And of course, he's right. 60 years ago this fall, as a hot shot in my own mind, high school athlete, I arrived on the campus of a small men's college 1,000 miles from home to a first day surprise. Every freshman required to take a timed test of pull-ups, push-ups, and sit-ups. I flunked, along with about 1/5 of the class. Our reward was a mandatory semester-long class on the obstacle course left over from World War II when Marines trained on the Amherst College campus. 20-foot ropes to climb, 10-foot walls to rappel over, hand-to-hand overhead bars. Scary, really scary, especially to this group of super geeks. The professor, whose name was Al, did something remarkable. Patiently, so patiently, he showed us all the tricks to climbing a rope and going over a wall. He made us into a team. Instead of calling us out, he built us up. It was all about finding your personal best, working with your teammates and fellow geeks. And we all made it. Athletics teaches you humility. There's always somebody better than you, always. But athletics also teach you to find strengths you never knew you had. 27 years later, on the North Central campus for the first time, as part of the search process for a new president, I ran a couple miles in Murner Fieldhouse with another master teacher named Al. Run for fun and personal bests. We like to win. We believe in excellence. I see, I've gotten so old, my hands shake. We believe in excellence, but it's all part of a team, taking the small steps day after day until you reach your full potential. Really, that's what this whole college is about. As we shook hands that day, I thought, boy, would I be lucky if I got this job. And I have been. Lucky in the Al Benedettis and Dick Worleys and Don Deachens and Larry Gregory's who backed their belief in the role of competitive athletics and physical fitness at their alma mater with both their genius as builders. You saw those buildings, the stadium, Res Rec, Zimmerman Field. Their genius as builders, but also their pocketbooks. I loved hearing that appeal for the Women's Athletic Fund earlier today. Never forget, you need to raise those dollars, propel this institution forward. My long list of thank yous must start with Al and Dick and Don and Larry and the other trustees who got us there. I've been lucky in the coaches and mentors and close colleagues I had over 22 years who kept finding ways to raise the banner of Cardinal athletics higher and higher. Al and Grammy, of course, and Marcy, good to see you, and Walter, and Jimmy, and Sue, and John, and Ed, right up to Brad Spencer, who I first knew when he was about this tall. I could go on. And of course, Rick and Lori and the rest of my personal team, Peggy, Paul Loscheider, Dev Pandian. Thank you all. But most of all, I was lucky in the young men and women whose feats over the years have so enriched Benna's and my life. Many of them here today in these rows. I could put myself to sleep at night watching Danny Meyer lap the Augie 10,000 meter champ. What was his name? Sando? Or watching Amber winning 2 national championships an hour apart on an oh-so-hot day in Lyle at the stadium of a school whose name I've forgotten. Or Cam and Lenny and Aaron and Wenger taking control of game after game. Or Mr. Jones' leap of faith that won the national championship. Or the day in Grinnell, Iowa, when Al's team came in at 25. That was early in my tenure, and I thought they'd all be like that. That's still the best score in the history of NCAA running. I could go on and on. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And special thanks to the committee that lowered its standards to let me in. When Jimmy Miller called to tell me I was going to get the ultimate Cardinal swag, I had images in my head of those billionaire NBA owners in their $1,000 suits grabbing the trophy on TV before the Seths and the LeBrons. I don't belong up here with you guys, you persons, I should say. I'm still the guy who failed his push-up test. Still, I'm damn glad to be included in your company. Thank you for everyone who has made Cardinal athletics such a rewarding and joyous part of Benna's and my lives and son Henry's lives since the first day I met Coach and Athletic Director Al Carius and decided that North Central was the school I love. Thank you.
Thank you for everything you've done and continue to do, Hal, and congratulations. I'd like to ask Jessica to join. Here we go.
Thank you for those kind words. Hold on. It is my honor to introduce Jim Miller to the Athletic Hall of Fame.
That's it. You go over here. Video.
Jim Miller is the epitome of a tremendous leader because of who he is, the character of who he is, the characteristics, the values, the virtues, the philosophical foundation that he works from.
Jim Miller has dedicated himself to North Central College. From the beginning of his career in the admissions department, to an instructor in health and physical education, to coaching, and finally, as athletic director.
He's got a spiritual foundation that's based on character, and that really helps mold the athletic team. He knows what he's talking about. He's knowledgeable. Don't get me wrong. However, he operates from a fundamental foundation of values. Yes, we've got a lot of success with wins, through his leadership. However, what's most important again is the influence that he is having on his coaches, on the athletes, and all the people that he surrounds himself with, and because of the character of the individual.
Under Jim's leadership, the college added 6 new athletic programs and saw 21 NCAA Division III team national championships, 114 team conference championships, 616 All-America awards, and 796 national academic awards. But Jim never lost the perspective of serving student athletes.
He's a great historian, and he understands what the word amateur means. Amateur comes from the Latin word amor, which means lover. And he understands that the foundation of a Division III program should be for anyone that loves athletics. If they love it, then we open the doors, and he's opened the doors to allow them to get the experience in their life that's going to have a lifelong effect on who they, become.
Jim and his wife Kristen, a 1994 alum, live in Naperville with their 3 children, Kirby, class of 2020, Kaylee, and Janae.
He's a friend. He's been a friend. I've watched him grow up here as a student, as an athlete, and as a friend, and I'm so very, very proud of him and so happy that he is getting this great and well-deserved honor.
College teammates and roommates. What would? Oh. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for that warm welcome and that picture, that family picture at the end of the video was taken during the 2013 softball regional championship game hosted up at University of Wisconsin in Whitewater. As you can see, we had coats and hats and gloves on in the middle of May, which to me really captures Division III athletics in the Midwest at its finest. Coach K remembers those. The picture also reminds me that time truly flies by, as so many of us know so well. I feel so blessed to have the love and support of my wife of almost 29 years, Kristen, our 3 children, my family, who have always supported me through the many years of coaching and being an administrator. Being a coach's wife, doing football and wrestling and many other things along the way, we have a really way to multitask and figure out ways to get things done, and that's the reality of Division III athletics. I first learned of Naperville and North Central College growing up as my father was a civil engineer assigned to a project in Naperville during the mid-1970s. He mentioned to me while I was looking at colleges that there was a small school of maybe 1,000 students in a town of maybe 25,000 people up by Chicago I should visit. He also mentioned that we were really good at men's cross country. I did not know what the correlation was because I was a football player and I wrestled, but I was soon to find out. Certainly, Naperville and North Central College have changed so much since arriving on campus in 1982. North Central's school motto at that time was a special kind of place. How little did I know how true that would become. Is it a very special place to me? In receiving this honor, I must express how deeply grateful I am to so many individuals who have influenced me in so many ways. Yes, it's true that change is inevitable in life. It's the one guarantee we have every year. However, the one core that has not changed during this past 40 years is that of the people, the relationships developed, and the influence we have upon each other. There's so many great times, there's so many great people with great stories associated with them that it really just makes me smile. I won't go into them. I promised Mary I would not, and I won't. But there's just, the life lived, and as much as I'd love to, it's nearly impossible to name each and every one of you and tell you how much you've meant and the influence you've made on me as a person, as a professional, hopefully. I have to thank and really first acknowledge our fantastic coaches, the current ones, the former ones, and you learn so much. The people that are sitting here, you guys have a great influence on so many thousands of people. I know you had a great influence on me. The staff, the faculty, the alumni, college teammates and friends of the college, and most importantly, our students, as they're truly the ones that have made North Central College so special. Thank you all. You are very much appreciated. In conclusion, let me once again offer my congratulations to our inductees. You're amongst the best of the best, and you have made a lasting impact on North Central College. You represent the best of principles of discipline, effort, and teamwork we continue to instill in Cardinal student athletes today. We hope you enjoy the day as much as we have enjoyed watching you succeed in competition, and those accolades secure your place in history. We look forward to seeing your influence inspire student athletes here for years to come. Thank you again for joining us today and sharing in this celebration. I hope you've enjoyed our ceremony and hearing from these outstanding individuals. Let's all give everybody one last round of applause. I want to remind everyone you are welcome to join us for today's festivities, capped off with a football game with the #1 ranked national defending champions at 6 p.m. against Carroll University. Thanks for your attendance, and we'll see you on campus.